Come with me and you'll see that we're gooning.
Just give me a few minutes to get to my,
If you want to groom pedophiles, all you have to do is do it. Go to the podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Troublemakers podcast. I'm not your host, but I'm one of the people here. It's me, Fauci EXE, and joining me today, as always, is
Nerdy John. How you doing, folks? Technically the main host, because when I tried making a separate channel for this podcast, YouTube decided in their infinite wisdom to delete the channel, and I have no idea why.
Because they're fucking weird. And as always, he comes from across the pond. And he somehow disappeared from the call. And we'll cut from here. And as always, from across the pond, he's here. He's near and dear. It's the British Runner.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, guys. You're gonna tell me some bullshit today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. John, what are we talking about today? Please, just hurt me now. Just do it.
We're talking about gooners. We're talking about groomers. We're talking about creeps and everything in between. We're talking about Just a Robot, Kumo, and SynniBear 03.
Oh God, this fucking drama has been one of the most Okay, so for those who don't know what the ACC is, the art commentary community, I didn't fucking know what it was until this entire thing. And what I'm learning,
poor sweet innocent child.
I'm not innocent anymore. What I'm learning is it needs to burn the fuck down. All of you should turn over your hard drives. Please unplug the router and find the most padded room to stay in for a period of time.
Yeah, just enough art commentary creators have defended CP in some form which I'm just like eyeballing every one of them. I'm just like, check all the fucking hard drives.
One of my co-hosts and collaborators and one of my researchers, all the same person. Her name is Makari. Very, very, very lovely, very great artist. She basically explained the Art CC in a way that was both terrifying and succinct to what this drama was. That all of the people who now lead the ACC are specifically the young people, are only in the positions that they are in because the people who groomed them and or were creepy to children have already been outed. And so all they're doing is perpetuating the same bullshit.
Oh no, it's an endless cycle. They grew.
It's literally like, I was literally like, oh, this makes a lot of sense for this drama. But Nerdy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If she's not a groomer, she must be a coomer. Who the fuck is SynniBear?
Oh God, SynniBear 03 is... originally, she wasn't even art commentary. She was another subcategory, art meme community, where apparently it was just normal for 13-year-olds to have like sexualized animations of like My Little Pony characters, and that's where she came from. And
yeah, there's like a weird rabbit hole. First off, I'll say this. Fauci EXE will say this. I don't really give a fuck. Pedophile. You're attracted to kids. You are talking to children. Part of the thing is that, you're talking to a child. Oh, that's an interesting thing. It's taboo. Do you know what that is? That's a pedophile.
Yeah.
Well, we don't mix words because we're going to get into the whole SynniBear is a groomer shit, or as Kumo and crew would say, violated obscenity laws, which is the craziest shit that man can ever say. Sorry, he's a little boy. I should be saying that 20 years old, doesn't have a fully functional frontal lobe. But yeah, this is the strangest thing, because what I understand of SynniBear is that she's actually very popular in that kind of meme art community thing.
She is.
Because
sorry, go ahead.
Because one of the things I found out during the research for this entire week-long drama that, I know you covered, I covered on our broadcast separately, was that what the art community does is like circumvent YouTube's like not laws, but their rules about like 18 plus content, specifically for minors and things like that, and create what is known as 16 plus content. So it's still sexually provocative, but with clothes on and for minors. And I'm just like, why the fuck is the FBI not here?
Yeah, it's such open violation of YouTube's policies too. It's do you remember when there was that whole thing on YouTube where it's like it was a completely innocent video of like a kid, but then if you opened up the comments, there would be those weird time
the family channel. I was you just fucking read my mind, because I was like, it's one of those things like with the family channels where kids are in either lewd or kind of compromising poses, and they're time stamped at the bottom of like popular channels, and people are like, hey, this is kind of fucking disgusting, hey YouTube, you gonna do anything? And it's like been like a silent like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do thing, which is insane.
Yeah. So what's funny is, okay, so I right before we got into call, I was actually watching some of SynniBear's content, or at least trying to watch it. What's funny is she called out another art CC creator by the name of Spoctor. And
I've heard of this shit.
Yes. Now,
you mean the guy that actually allegedly had CP on his computer? Or
yes.
Is this like the fuck?
Yeah. So like it's what's funny is with the Spoctor drama. Initially, his first wave of drama, right? It was similar to Slazo. Now, if anyone's familiar with the Slazo situation, he was 16, dating like a 14-year-old through Discord. They met up for like IRL dates, and some very like an outsider looking in of initially some very sketchy comments. But
at the time, and this is something very important. I know all this Slazo drama for reasons I wish I didn't know it. Shout out to ye old dead man Scarlet Reaper. Fucking made me learn that drama real quick because of the friends that I have. The way it was used was so far out of context, because at the time of these people interacting with one another, they are both minors.
Yes.
And we can always, and I think it's a very fair conversation to have about the relationship exploration, the sexual exploration of minors. It is a very uncomfortable topic. Legal is a weird fucking thing to say about it, but it's like one of those things where it's like, but these are still two minors in an age group that are close enough to each other where this thing would be a natural occurrence, not necessarily a crime.
Yeah, Spoctor's initial drama was similar. He was 16 though, talking to a 13-year-old, which again is technically legal, but like if this was a high school context, right, he would have definitely been made fun of.
It's still fucking weird.
Oh, absolutely.
It's still, especially with that kind of age group, because there's a large disparity between the two. A 13, and then maybe it's like a 13 going on 14-year-old and a 16 or whatever. But like there is a large disparity from someone who's in, for those who are in the U.S., the 8th grade, transitioning into high school. There's a large disparity between the two.
And so anyway, like he was able to come out of that initially because like people like Manga Common, who is another art commentary person who thankfully has nothing to do with this fucking drama, and then like ironically enough, Just a Robot made videos defending him, and they actually made decent points because unfortunately I have to admit something, younger Nerdy was a fan of both Manga Common and Just a Robot at the time.
I am so sorry for your loss.
I know. In retrospect, like you ever like watch like an old watch an old TV show growing up, and like you watch it years later, and it's like, oh my god, this is dog shit. Why did I have like this?
That's happened.
That's like the hit I got with this whole jar stuff. But anyway, his second wave of drama was that he kept the nudes of the 13-year-old.
Yeah. So I had heard that, and I was like, now it's one thing, and this is how it was explained to me. It's one thing if, let's say, it is no one thing. Honestly speaking, I'm being honest. It's fucking weird. Because it appears that he had knowledge that he had them still. Like, this wasn't just like a oopsie accident. Like, this was, I still had them.
Like you can put, like, obviously, you know,
Like, this
year of our
wasn't,
Lord
like-
2024, partners are
Yeah.
going to share explicit images with each other.
This is not like, hi, I'm a 28-year-old and I'm opening this phone from when I was like 14 and I found something I needed to delete immediately.
Yeah. Harsh
This was I
flashback
had
stuff.
knowledge of this existing.
Because I think this was on his computer.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Stop. Just what the fuck? Just delete it.
Anyway,
The moment you turn 18, delete shit.
Anyway, the reason why I bring up Spoctor is twofold. One, because in numerous times throughout this drama, Jar uses him as an example. And two, about a year ago, when the second wave of Spoctor drama came about, guess who made a video calling him out?
Would it be Jar because he's a
Well, him too.
two-faced prick?
Well, him too. And
Or would it
SynniBear.
also be SynniBear?
Yeah.
SynniBear. Yeah.
However the fuck you pronounce her name.
It's SynniBear, I believe.
SynniBear, okay. Well, you know, honestly, with her being a groomer and a pedophile, you know, she doesn't deserve the respect of getting her name pronounced properly.
Pain in the ass. Is what I would say.
But it's so funny because like I did what I always love doing when a creator gets into like a hot drama is like I refresh the comments from like most popular to newest, and it's like all the comments are calling her a hypocrite. So from my knowledge of the situation, so she started talking to this 14-year-old when she was 20. And now the cope that Kumo and Jar will tell you is that the child initiated the sexual conversation.
Wait, yeah, hold up. British.
Oh, yes.
British, I need your undivided attention for a second.
Yes.
If I were to tell you that someone, we'll say Kumo, because fuck him, he's gone from the internet, he
Yeah.
ran like a little bitch. At the time of this recording, Kumo said in a previous live stream that, yeah, this SynniBear person isn't necessarily a groomer. She broke some obscenity laws, but that 14-year-old is such a sexual deviant in the community. Who does that sound like to you? Who you made a video essay on?
Oh, I don't know. Could it be I don't know, the Captain Scarlet guy?
You mean Scarlet Reaper? Of course it is, because it's the
I
reverse
like to call him
minor.
Captain Scarlet.
Dude, listen, that adult was pressured and groomed into that situation.
So I think there's something.
No, he was raped in VR chat.
VR
Let's
chat.
not forget about that little detail.
But, there was something really interesting about that entire experience too, and I think it's really important to go over. Right, so we talk about SynniBear is starting to exchange messages with a 14-year-old. She at the time is allegedly 20. 2021. She turns. I believe she changes ages while they're still talking.
Yes.
First off, should not be talking to a minor. Second, shouldn't have minors in her Discord because she shares Guro art. For those who don't know, Guro is gore. Guro is more of the kink of it all, which definitely not for fucking me.
Definitely. Unfortunately, my introduction to that type of art was the Dream community.
That's a fucking pull.
Yeah. I wasn't like a fan of Dream or anything, right? But like obviously during the height of its popularity, you would get some Dream related tweets on your feed every now and then, right? Unfortunately, some of those tweets would be of the messed up art some of his fans would make for him. But I digress. Yeah, so she initiated the conversation, the minor initiated the conversation. And
One of them did, because
Yeah.
at this point, because the minor was also in. So SynniBear had a Discord. I think it's also important to note that SynniBear had a Discord with minors in it. Like there are just minors there, and so they start having conversations, and we're not going to split hairs. The conversations start to become sexual in nature, but not in the traditional sense. And this was a conversation that I had on my stream, and I would pose to the two of you. If we are all artists, right? And we are starting to be more flirty with one another. If I start sharing my OC in sexual positions and invite you to do the same, or draw my OC in lewd positions, would that not be considered in an abstract way sharing nudes with one another?
Yeah, because like obviously, especially in the art commentary space, your OC is essentially you.
Exactly.
And especially when we get into the fact that she was specifically because like the minor she was talking to was a girl, but was represented by, I believe, a male OC, and she apparently was explicitly attracted to that male OC, if I'm getting this correct.
It's very loose. From I have read some of the messages. It's very loose about the OC in general. The OC, I think, is a part of it. Obviously, when we're talking about this, but there are messages in their conversations constantly referring back to the fact that the individual in question, their name is, they go by the online handle NO. They are a 14-year-old girl. She SynniBear, 20 years old, by the way, constantly references the fact that they're 14 and like calls them like a baby in a way that's flirty, honestly speaking, and predatory.
Yeah.
Because it's, I'm showing you these obscenities, but you're such a baby. Like it's like one of those things where it's like reading the 188 page document from the person who was groomed and showing predominantly screenshots is a fucking harrowing thing. There's so much being shared. Like it's absurd. The antithesis of everything is a rape comic that they share between each other. And SynniBear started that.
And it seems like it's not even just like, it seems like SynniBear takes pride in the fact that like she's sort of like opening these experiences with this child.
Yes, 100%. My personal running theory. This is my personal running theory. Is probably SynniBear was subject to something very similar at around the same age, and is perpetuating that because that's all she knows. That can happen with victims of abuse. Oftentimes, we do see victims of, there are studies out there that indicate that there are instances where victims of sexual assault or predatory natures or grooming kind of regress or stop formation, stop like personally forming at that age. And, they can also offend against others. It doesn't mean that everybody who has ever been groomed or sexually abused or assaulted will do that. It just, there is research that shows that there are some in that population that may offend themselves.
Right. Well, it's interesting because normally in cases where a YouTuber is either behaving weirdly around a minor or grooming them or explicitly like let's meet up type of thing, they always try to keep it a secret because they know they're not supposed to do it. They are ashamed of it. When confronted about everything, Cinny does not know why everyone's angry about it. Like I remember there was explicitly a message about how the child talked about how they did rape art at the age of 11 and that everyone was shaming them for it. And then Cinny's like, no, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. That's perfectly normal. And genuinely, Cinny sees nothing wrong with what she's doing. And during the leaked call with Kumo and Romantic Goblin, when she's confronted with the
both the most. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say
fine.
something real quick. These are the. We'll get into Kumo, but Romantic Goblin, you are not like fucking. I don't know how you got off scot-free for right now. You are the most vapid, stupid motherfucker I've ever heard on the planet. I've never heard someone suck the air out of the room and somehow bring everything down when they speak more than this person. Like, I'm pretty... Listen, if one can produce negative brain cells, that would be Romantic Goblin.
Oh, you see, like this is going to be a first here, folks. I feel bad for making fun of them because of the voice. It's like, oh, this is a severely mentally ill person. I don't
fucking care about making fun of any of them. Wood chipper for all of them.
But in the call, when she's confronted with the fact that she didn't just show the minor the rape comic, that she had the minor read it to her so that way she can get feedback and see if the minor enjoyed it. She was like, yeah, I didn't see that as like an important thing to talk about. Like, she didn't see it as a big deal.
But you know, Nerdy, there's something that we're missing.
Oh,
right?
What's that?
There's something, and I'm forgetting. SynniBear made a video when this was all released about a month ago. So this breaks around like September 16th, if I remember correctly, or a little bit earlier than that. And SynniBear makes a response video. Nerdy, do you remember what that fucking response video was about?
Oh, I believe in the initial response video, she flat out calls herself a groomer.
Yes, she says, and I quote, "I promised not to do this again, but I groomed again." She made a promise not to groom another minor because
she made a mental note.
She made a mental note. She prayed to whatever God she believes in and says, "Please don't let me groom minors today. Please, my name is SynniBear."
Now, British Runner, to bring you back into this, do
God.
you need to make a mental note to yourself not to talk to children in a weird way? Do you need to make that mental note to yourself, or do you just kind of not do that?
Oh
British.
no.
British? Oh no.
Oh no, the silence is deafening.
Did we lose him?
That or we broke him. British, are you there? I am channeling the British.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, my mic probably just went out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, back to the question. Do you need to make mental notes to yourself not to talk to children, or do you just kind of not do it?
I would just say that you just, as an adult, you would know not to do that type of shit unless you want to land yourself in a fucking jail cell. I mean, like, it's just a given, really, isn't it?
You think you would think that? The art commentary community thinks very differently, British.
The art commentary community is so bizarre, man. And I think that was the thing too.
That's an understatement.
This was something I found so interesting. She admits to this, and meanwhile, in the background, you have Jar, just a robot, and Kumo of Kumo Commentary, or formerly of Kumo Commentary, since he deleted the channel.
Rest in piss, bitch.
Like a little bitch. They both are running two separate but similar stories that make no sense. So
meanwhile, they hate each other's guts. So what is happening behind the scenes? So SynniBear admits to being a groomer. The video is out there. Should be case closed, but it's not. And why is it not? So let's look at our beautiful, beautiful subject for most of this podcast. Just a Robot. Now, Just a Robot is a man embroiled in his own levels of controversy throughout the art CC. Oh God.
And he typically, somehow, for some reason, always appears at the end of other people's and is a little bit of a snake and will report on people that are his friends when they are at their lowest because it gets him views and all of these things.
The guy is like the 11th. He's the
Mhm.
11th Cavalry, isn't he?
Oh,
Shows
there's
up at the end of the drama.
there's so that you don't know how right you are.
Dude, he's the platoon that shows up to D-Day a year later.
Yes. So he goes to himself. Jar is sitting there in his apartment or wherever he lives. I will say it's an apartment, and
I'm
thinks
sure
to
he's
himself,
not living in a little cave somewhere.
no, because he talks about his roommate way too often.
Yeah. Who is his black friend and gave him the pass.
Yes, and gave him the pass to be like obscenely racist in multiple videos, and also make a quote unquote face reveal, which was a black, black version of his OC. Whole fucking rabbit hole. We do not have time for that shit. But Jar is thinking to himself, you know what I would like to do? I think that there's more to this story. I'm going to tell SynniBear, I believe you. I want to know more about your story. I'm also going to rizz you up on the side because I'm Jar and I have terrible history with women. Shout out to Cope and Seeth for doing that entire fucking video.
Well, but we gotta keep in mind, before Jar reaches out to her, Kumo forms the Avenger level group known as the Anti-Groomer Squad.
The Groomer Defense League, and this is like where the interesting point comes in. So Jar is going to reach out to her, but before then, Kumo and his little cavalcade of dumbasses want to run a gay op on SynniBear's now former roommate Jack, or would have gone by the
Birdie.
Yes, gone by the title Birdie. There's a long history of Birdie that I understand. All of these people are schizophrenic, but it seems for some reason Birdie is trying to better themselves. Good on them. But Kumo wants to run a gay op. Allegedly, from some leaked Discord messages. Again, I say alleged because none of the parties have said anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, Kumo wanted SynniBear to socially engineer and hack Jack's computer in some way, shape, or form. Allegedly. Or at least mail them maybe Discord leaks and things like that, because Kumo wants to get this big break on the Jack/Birdie story. However, in his haste, in his stupidity, he also begins to fall in love. And I don't care what he don't say, because if you listen to his quote-unquote confrontation call with SynniBear about all of her grooming and all of the lying that he's had to defend, he sounds like the most jealous boyfriend you have ever met in your entire life. And the ladies in the audience who listen to this podcast, I know there are some out there, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That one guy from high school that never left you alone, yeah, that would be Kumo.
Why did you go to this other guy? You know I can treat you better than he can.
Why did you wear those clothes? I told you if you wore clothes like that, this would happen to you. Is exactly the energy that motherfucker gives off.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, his justifications for everything and what he considers like a line too far in the sand, listening to the calls, listening to his own streams on the matter.
Yes. Well, because there's such an interesting thing where he constantly, and you can find it in earlier, oh, wait, you can't anymore because he deleted his channel like a little bitch.
Because he couldn't handle shit.
Oh, well, he locked his Twitter and said it was the Spurgs coming after him. The Leviathans are coming.
Joseph Rogan, the Leviathans are coming.
But more importantly, it was one of those things where constantly blaming the minor. I have more info, and this is something Jar would do. Jar writing his video, but again, as John pointedly put out, Kumo and Just a Robot fucking hate each other. So what do? Running theory, Romantic Goblin and SynniBear fucking ran okay. I think SynniBear was trying to run a gay up on both of them by trying to get them to defend her. I personally think Goblin is the one that leaked. Because long story short, Kumo gets Jar's video and puts it out ahead of time, so forces Jar to put his video out. I am sure Romantic Goblin leaked it. That's who I think leaked it.
No, yeah, I think either him or his editor sent it to her to like kind of like as an optics check thing.
Yes,
she sent it to Kumo
and been like, oh, look at this fucking guy. She ran to this dude. I thought she wasn't running to him anymore. Like, yeah, it was all like fucking weird optics. So yes, so Jar finally puts out this fucking weirdo video about defending a groomer, referencing Pyrocynical, which I, not for nothing, that is a whole drama that people should probably relook at. But Pyrocynical, talking about everybody in the ACC, the Lio, fucking Hopeless Peaches, all of these other fucking people whose names I now know and I wish I didn't. But he then has this beautiful interview with SynniBear. And it is probably the most incriminating thing that I have ever heard in my entire life until the Kumo call.
Yeah.
It was so fucking incriminating. Oh.
And I do want to talk about some of Jar's points. Like Jar talks about how like you guys find it weird that she sends suggestive poses of her character to minors. Did you never watch Naruto? And it's like, okay, listen, okay, we're not naive here. When you turn 13, you're gonna actively look for stuff, right? But there is a difference between a minor going behind adults' back and finding porn or suggestive material or stuff they're not even supposed to watch, like R-rated movies, right? And a adult directly supplying that stuff to said minor. There is an inherently difference between that. One is the minor going behind adults' back and finding this stuff on their own. One is an adult just being a creep. And it's weird that Jar doesn't understand that distinction.
British, what do you think?
What do I think? I think we should look at the arguments where he told us exactly what he likes to do with his roommate.
Oh yeah, where he likes to grab his roommate's butt.
Well, that was the other thing. God damn. Yeah, they play little grab ass. It's not, and that was the other thing too. If we go into some of his,
me and my roommates grab each other's asses all the time.
Listen,
I mean,
it's just a male bonding thing.
Listen, this is speaking as a man attracted to both genders and everything in between. If you grab my ass without consent, I will fucking knock your ass out.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like one of those things where it's like, these are arguments that make no sense, and you reveal way too much about you when you do that. And to Jar's credit, this is something Kumo would also say, where Kumo exclaimed that, yes, the 188 pages, that's really just locker room talk between two girls, completely disregarding that one of them is underaged as fuck.
And this isn't in a Jar's video, but in the leaked call he had with another creator. The fact that he says, oh yeah, I mean, like, come on guys, like rape fantasy is such a common thing, and then like he reveals that he has that too. It's like, okay, listen, like what's more common is like, adult partners, like, a little more rougher in the bedroom, a good spank here and there, that type of thing, right? Not full on like non-con shit.
Don't you just love his excuse of the video went out because someone leaked it? It's like, bro, you wrote the scripts. Maybe you should have read that script back to yourself before, and then you had to record it as well. Like, bro, there should have been some red flags popping off in your head before even sending that off to the editor.
He makes sections of the video where he directly tries to combat the screenshots. And what he does is he cherry picks the screenshots where it's like, oh, come on, this is just them sending the lyrics of Baby Got Back to each other. I mean, come on, guys.
Oh my god.
Yes. And that was the other thing too. This
Such
would
a
be
sweep.
Hmm?
Such a sweep.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, you have no idea. I think one of the interesting things, and it comes from like leaks, it comes from conversations, it comes from the multiple fucking interviews this guy does. Whoa. This guy doesn't shut the fuck up about himself or about
do you
anything, really.
No. By the
do you
way,
want
guys, I
him
gotta
to
go
shut
take
up,
a
though?
massive dump right now.
Okay, do I want him to shut up? No.
No, it's more content for you
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Hey, okay, yeah, listen, let's be real. This is, this content's been nice.
Hey,
It's
guys,
been
I-
kind to
we-
me. It's
We've been eating good
Guys,
for this past couple of
I'm
weeks. I ain't
sorry
gonna
to
lie.
interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I gotta go take a shit.
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
I swear to Christ.
I would have lost myself. I
Yeah,
would've lost
actually,
it
I just
if
came back
I was in
from
that call. If I was
taking
in
a
that
dump.
call, I could. If I was in that call, I probably would not have been able to contain my laughter.
No, not at all. Actually, guys, I just came back from using the bathroom. It not all of it came out, you know.
God damn it. Fuck off. But no, but like, so Jar gets a lot of backlash for this video. But what's worse is his Discord leaks with SynniBear.
Oh God.
Made more delectable when he gets brought on the Chud Logic stream and literally drawn out like a dog and walked around town because everybody from the commentary community gets a fucking jab. Chud gets to rip him a new asshole saying, oh, you wanted me to react positively to your video. You're trying to fucking pull a fast one on me. And I will say this because it was a funny moment for me personally. My friend and yours, FPS Diesel, goes onto the stream and plays a voice note. Jar left for was someone that he worked with, talking about their pussy, and because he's pretending to be drunk or whatever the fuck he is, he's trying to be flirty.
Yeah, that pussy.
And he's like, yeah, that pussy. This is how he sounds. The fucking craziest thing in the world.
That's something you would hear in a like a murder documentary.
Exactly. He sounds like a fucking freakazoid.
British Runner, would you believe me if I said he had a girlfriend? It's an e-girlfriend, but a girlfriend nonetheless.
And guess what? None of the internet
How do we
believes him
know-
either.
How do we know if that's even true, though? This could just be some random person that he had spoken with one time, and
Listen, you
like,
don't know her. She goes to a
he's
different
just
school.
saying-
She goes
he's
to a
just
different
saying
school.
that shit.
She actually goes to camp in Canada. I don't know if you've heard of that country, but she's just
No, I haven't
around.
heard of that
Yeah.
country. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, but I love Jar's repeated explanations of like, guys, you don't understand. This is just my humor. But then he also explains that due to his humor, he gets fired from multiple jobs. And it's like,
Yes.
broski, did you not realize that maybe you shouldn't say that? Like asking your female coworkers about their
Like, when
pussy
I heard him
constantly
say that-
is not appropriate.
When I heard him say that, like, I was literally like thinking, does he say these things in the real world? Like, go, hey guys, you wanna see my cock? And he just carries around a picture of a rooster.
Although, like in IRL, you see his facial expression, so you get to see the fucking creepy smile he probably puts on
God
his face when he
damn.
says
Oh
it.
God.
No, he just clasps your hand. He like shakes your hand with both hands intently and just stares into your eyes while he laughs at his own joke because he's the only one laughing while everybody is afraid of him.
Yeah,
It's just like there's and to the audience that's like, wow, this story is really scatterbrained. It is. It's really weird. There are twists and turns that didn't need to exist. It is so bizarre. This story got so bizarre so quickly.
it did. Because initially it was just like, oh, here's this art commentary creator. They groomed a child, right? Initially, very simple cut and dry story. And then Kumo and Jar throw their hats in the ring, and then you reveal all the Discord flirting, all the plans of attack, and all the leaked calls.
Right. And it should be interesting to note, obviously, the people who were defending SynniBear get looked at a very interesting lens because the Streisand effect happened. You know, everyone kind of was like, okay, open and shut case. It was brought to like my attention by my audience, and I was like, yeah, but you're showing she's admitting it, so this is open and shut case. This is just weird. I don't want to touch this shit.
Yeah.
Jar doing this created a Streisand effect, and people were talking about it more. And then it brought everybody who had defended SynniBear into a microscope, one of which would be Kumo, who, in all intents and purposes, initially got saved by Beckett over at Cope and Seethe and some other creators because they had to walk him down the idea that he sounded like a fucking freak, that he was defending a groomer, some may say pedophile, and that he sounded like he was a fucking map apologist. And for those who don't know, the map shit is minor attracted person. It's the fucking weirdest thing. And if you ever seen anyone use that on the internet, fucking call the FBI. Because
Report that
that's
shit.
insane. Report that shit. That's fucking insane. And that's what he sounded like. And it's wild.
Yeah, because he was the one who initially made the arguments of like, oh well, like this 14-year-old is just hypersexual. They're clearly the one at fault for initiating the conversation. It's just like, buddy, I hope you don't interact with minors in this way, because like that's the thing with these videos. Is just like, I know they're technically not advocating for what she did, but it's like they downplay it so much to where it's like, do you guys participate?
Well, I think something really interesting is not only are they downplaying, they're trying to call it something else. They're trying to call it decency laws that she. Because what they're trying to do is that she violated a code of conduct, a code of social conduct, versus committed an actual crime. That's why they focus on obscenities and like social norms. Because hey, it's not socially acceptable to talk to a minor this way. No, it's a fucking crime, and she shouldn't have been talking to them this way.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mentioned earlier, it's interesting what lines they consider too far. Like, they're perfectly fine with her showing a minor a rape comic multiple times, but they draw the line at the minor reading it. It's like, what the fuck do you think the minor was gonna do with the rape comic? Supposedly they both have this rape fantasy. You don't think the minor wasn't gonna read it in the first place?
It's just like was a insane. Yeah, it just leaves you speechless.
Yeah,
because it's like weird, and
this
so
year has been so fucking prevalent for like people, like really creepy people getting exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been fucking insane.
Yeah, it's definitely like been a weird one, and I think it's also weird because like of where it started too, because like we've had people like get exposed, like stuff like Yondev earlier in the beginning of the year was like stuff that people kind of knew about him.
Yeah,
but
Mama
like
Max.
couldn't pin. Well, that's what I was about to say. Mama Max was the weirdest turning point though, because
Mama Max was like,
Mhm.
Mama Max was like, he exposed himself really for what he was, because he just couldn't, like, he just couldn't I think that was the thing that, like, well, not really control himself, but conduct himself in a really professional way, sort of thing. And
Because
I think
of his
that's
ego.
really because I think that's what's kind of tipped the hat off to everybody in the commentary community to start looking back through his shit.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, like, that stuff, like, that's definitely, like, the turning point, like, for all these, like, all these other people getting like exposed and all that stuff as these like predators, groomers, and really creepy people on the internet.
And supposedly Jar, like, this isn't just the one instance of him defending stuff weirdly. Apparently he has a history of doing this.
Yeah, he has this history of defending it and then finding a way to be on the opposite end of it when it doesn't work for him. Very famously and he says it, he claims that he's undefeated in debates. Not true. It's just very weird. I will constantly keep plugging it, but Copace's video on Jar's history is very, very good at looking at how there's so much on this man, but because the public things about him were forced and potentially fake, that he kind of skated around like unscathed for a little bit. But then you start noticing something, that the people he's defended and then turned around and hated or done these like weird takedown videos were people he was previously friends with and no longer are really on the internet. You know, your Hopeless Peaches, your Lio Convoy, you know, people like this that he would defend until they would outlive their usefulness and then hyperfixate on taking them down to keep his brand alive.
Jar would call him, Lio, and Hopeless Peaches the three musketeers of the art commentary community. And Peaches is a weird case too, because much like Jar, she had a history of people trying to go at her, but it was like people like Omnia and Kai Weiss, where it's just like she drew a character with a slightly darker shade, and so that makes it digital blackface, and she's racist somehow for it. And it was and Prison Mate Luke, when he made his shit commentary videos on everyone. It's like a lot of these people had like, if you actually look at the material, would have a lot of like legitimate reasons to criticize them, but it's just the people involved with the takedowns did such a terrible job.
Yeah, because the ACC cannot police itself. They
can't.
Inherently, everybody has a game-ending skeleton in their closet.
Yeah,
like literally.
Hopeless Peaches when has a regression fetish. Now, for those of you poor souls who are fortunate enough to not know what that is up until this point, that's basically where they regress in age. For some people, it's like to like a toddler. Others, it's a baby. And Lio and her would have like this sort of like very weird sort of relationship, because he was essentially like her adopted Discord dad.
Yeah, there was the weird thing where it was very clearly, from what I understand, it was very clearly a daddy little girl fetish thing. That whole kind of daddy dom little girl fetish thing that combined with the age regression shit made it borderline criminal. Yeah, like just like the other concept, like the conceptualness behind it was just like increasingly bizarre.
Very, very much so. Oh, and by the way, before we wander off too far from this point, Kumo's a piece of shit because he, instead of making any response to like justify any of his actions or like take accountability for anything, he decided to like just like take down other people's videos for daring to use his fucking traced art of a JJK character.
Yes, not only that. Kumo has a specific crime that nobody really discovered except my crew of people, because we're insane like that. Kumo has a merch store. It is some of the worst merch I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh no.
It is some of the... he has fucking slides with his character's face on it, which literally is just two anime characters merged into one. So it's unoriginal to even begin with. But then he just has like the worst shit. He also has a SoundCloud about
the SoundCloud
about Bussy, which listen, I'm gonna say it. It's totally fine. Like there is wonderful game music, and there is wonderful, all of these kinds of things. His wasn't.
What was it?
His is some like basic ass bitch shit. Like I just found this track on Etsy and I'm just gonna press play. Like it was just it's
Well,
so
wasn't like
fucking
one
bad.
of his songs like talking about how he wanted to be up in like EDP's Bussy?
Not necessarily. It was like a weird. We listened to the song. I know Diesel listened to the song, and I was on that stream, or I was in the chat, and it was just like it just wasn't entertaining. He just talks about Bussy, which is fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with talking about Bussy. It's a great thing. But he wasn't good at talking about a great thing. So it was very fucking weird. and that's the thing too. He ran from the internet very famously, or to this story anyways. He would tell people, like he made like a weird comment that was like, "Oh, to the followers that I know are gonna like clip this, hey," and it's like, dog, just answer the questions. You're running. He also, and this is something very interesting, he copyright claimed somebody. He content ID claimed somebody, flatly, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And said, well, nobody cared about when this artist, copyright struck me and all these things, only for it to come out that that artist actually was like, hey, no, he's right. I shouldn't have done this. And we worked it out behind the scenes.
Oh no.
Yeah, first off, the ego on that motherfucker, because he only at the time, like when he still had his channel, he only had 1.7K.
Yeah, but he's a micro influencer. Don't you want the micro influencer merch?
True, yeah, true. And like, listen, I'm someone who very deeply cares about like copyright abuse in this space, right? Because it's just creators silencing other creators from giving them criticism. So like if I had known about like Kumo's situation, I would have gladly talked about it, but obviously before him and the artist had everything resolved. But it's like the ego of like, oh well, like nobody knows what happened to me, then clearly everyone must be against me.
Yeah, it's such a like a bizarre, and that was the thing. Like he tried to justify all of his actions being like it was supposed to be for this, and that's how he like very clearly justified his actions on defending SynniBear was I could finally get the Birdie story out there. Nobody cared. It was very clear that he saw this as his big break, and he was going to stop at nothing to get this story across. Now, do I think that he got lost in the sauce and fell for the source? 100%. There is so much in that call, which is still up, by the way. Romantic Goblin, you are a fucking weirdo for keeping that call up, but God bless for keeping it up. He just sounds so sad and defeated and angry, and it's just like...
Heartbroken.
Heartbroken is the exact word I would use. He just sounds heartbroken, and it's so bizarre. It is one of the more bizarre things I've ever seen on the platform, where it's like, why are you bizarre? I mean, why are you heartbroken over a fucking groomer being a groomer, and then you defended said groomer?
And then you find out that she was talking to the guy you hate.
Which you also kind of knew, though. This fucking story.
I think because like if you looked at his most popular videos, obviously it was surrounding the Live Convoy Discord server stuff. And when that drama was happening, it was ripe pickings for people to grow their channels, right? Yeah. I only made one video about it, and it wasn't even like a video directly necessarily talking about it. I had Leia something on to talk about it. And like we didn't really show much. It was just like we had a general conversation about it. And that video is like one of my like top 10 most viewed videos on my channel. And I hardly did anything to talk about the drama, right? It was easy pickings for people. Yeah. And I think he felt he deserved more. I think when he came out of that drama. So like his thing is now like, I'm gonna be the guy who like makes all the exposed videos on like the art commentary rejects.
which is like a weird thing to say and or do. Like nobody wants like, I don't know, man. Like nobody wants to react to Glub Shit 069. Like I hear these fucking names, and I'm like, somebody's like fucking saying like Dark Sephiroth XXX Tricky, and I'm like, that's a fucking username. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
So like it was like Chaos 1616 or something. Like, wait, is that just like an Xbox gamer tag?
Literally, I'm so confused. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, but okay. So, final thoughts on the drama as a whole.
Kumo, if you want to do an interview, I swear to God, I will. You get free range. We can talk. I'll ask hard-hitting questions, but I'll let you speak. I know you ran. You know, you're probably looking for the bussy. You're not going to find it with your bitch ass. You are the power bottom. It is okay to admit that.
Listen, okay. If you come on the show, we can arrange for you to at least have like one femboy message you. We can somehow arrange.
You know what? I'll orchestrate the femboy. Yeah. Don't even worry about it. I got you. I got him in my back pocket.
One of us has to know at least one femboy.
I actually do. But that's not even the point. The point is this. This fucking Art CC needs to die.
They do. In a fire.
It needs to actually just shutter its doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Nerdy?
Listen, this was good eating for me for a little bit, right? But like, listen, okay, Jar, Cinny, Kumo, fucking everyone. I don't know why. Like, you need to have this revelation. Don't talk to children. Just don't do that, and it makes your life so much easier as a content creator.
Nerdy. Yes. Maybe you should make a guidebook on that. You know, so
like
people know
like a
not
Monkey
to
Jones style video survival guide of a YouTuber.
Yeah, like the guide to not talking to children as a YouTuber, coming from a YouTuber.
Lord,
wait, no, that makes it sound like I'm speaking from experience. No, fuck that.
No. I was just saying because you're a YouTuber.
Yeah. Okay, British runner. As someone who didn't really follow this drama too closely, but got exposed to all the insane levels of it.
When I woke up one day, I looked at my phone because I normally just jump on YouTube to find some music to wake up to.
Yes.
I saw his video in my recommended, like on the actual feed. And I was like, okay, I'll just add it to my watch later. I'll watch it later. But then I saw Chud Logic's reacting to like Just a Robot's video. Now I was like, I didn't see it was from Just a Robot. So I was like, okay, I'll just look at it because I know this guy's been from the Gamergate stuff from Gamergate and all that stuff back then. But like, I did not expect it to be like, I even said in the chat, I was like, oh, I got this in my recommended, like, and like everyone was like telling me, yeah, it's really bad, British, it's really fucking bad,
and it wasn't.
So
I was like, kind of taken a bit back by it. So I just have to say, like, how the fuck did this even make it past the scripting process?
Well, his roommate wasn't there to help out.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you should have just listened to your fucking roommate and your quote-unquote girlfriend, okay? Really, like, if the two people closest to you essentially are telling you, don't upload it, don't do it, man. Maybe you should listen to them next time.
Yeah, because then he could have, he could have had the defense where like if he didn't upload it on his end, he could have been just like, Kumo took this video way out of context. I scrapped it because I realized how stupid it was. He could have had that whole defense.
Honestly speaking, if he had done that, it would have been the brightest move. The problem is, and you'd hear it in any interview, that boy just is so autistic. He don't get it. Like he like the idea isn't there. It's just and it's just like the thought of scrapping a video like that didn't come to mind once.
Yeah, and I love like he'll be like, for example, he'll be interviewed about how like he used an arrangement of a very racist version of a song. And he's like, yeah, well, it's like also too the movie it's in, it's unrealistic because the white supremacist uses way too many bullets in his pistol. It's like that's not what you're being asked about, Jar.
Is that the Bo Black song?
No, it's
No, it's not. Oh my god! Imagine.
Bro,
No.
I saw that in Lyric's video, and I was like, really? That's what this whole thing boiled down to with this song?
But
That's what he was
anyway.
embarrassed about.
But anyway, folks, this is the Troublemakers Podcast. I'm your host, Nerdy John, joined by Falky and British Runner. Make sure you check out these amazing guys in the description. Falky does amazing live streams with his co-hosts. They do deep research, and British Runner over here, you know, he's been making pretty decent videos on Star Wars theory, which he's ruffled the jimmies a bit of the fan base. It's quite funny watching. And of course, you can find me on here. We do morning shows every Sunday and Thursday with occasional uploads in between, especially the semi-daily shorts upload. Guys, have a good one. Signing out.
Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.